Have you ever felt it? That cold, creeping sensation that you are not the one driving. You're in the passenger seat of your own life, watching scenery you didn't choose, heading toward a destination you never agreed to. Your hands are on the wheel, but they don't seem to steer. Your foot is on the pedal, but the speed is not your own. This isn't a violent hijacking, it's a silent, gradual takeover, a slow poison. You make choices, you follow routines, you build a life that looks right from the outside. The job, the relationships, the goals, they all tick the right boxes. But in the dead of night, when the silence is so loud it screams, the truth whispers from the abyss of your soul. This is not me. This feeling is the quiet pandemic of the modern soul, a profound sense of powerlessness, masked by the illusion of freedom. You are told you can be anything, yet you feel like you are nothing. You are told to be yourself, but you have no idea who that is anymore. A stranger looks back at you in the mirror, his eyes filled with a forgotten sorrow, a longing for a home he can't name. This isn't just a bad week or a midlife crisis. It is a spiritual malady, a disconnection so deep you've forgotten what you've lost. You believe this hollowness is normal. You believe this quiet desperation is simply what it means to be an adult. But what if I told you that this loss of control is not an accident? What if it's a symptom of a war being waged within you, a war you don't even know you're fighting? A forgotten master of the soul, a man who dared to journey into the darkest corners of the human psyche, left us a map not to happiness but to wholeness, a map to take back the throne of your own life. His name was Carl Jung, and his wisdom will show you that the force that controls you is not outside. It's been inside you all along, and until you face it, you will never be free. We think of psychology as a modern science, a clean, sterile practice for fixing broken minds. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He was not a mechanic of the brain, he was an archaeologist of the soul. He understood that to understand humanity, you couldn't just look at the surface. You had to dig. You had to go down into the darkness, into the collective unconscious where the myths, symbols, and shadows of all humanity reside. Jung gave us a terrifying and liberating idea: the shadow. Imagine putting everything you despise about yourself into a bag. Your rage, your envy, your lust, your shame, your weakness, your cruelty, every unacceptable thought, every immoral desire. Now, imagine tying that bag shut and burying it deep in the earth of your mind, pretending it doesn't exist. That is your shadow. Society, your parents, your religion, they all handed you the shovel. They taught you that to be good, you must amputate the parts of you that are bad. Jung's chilling insight was this: everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. What you repress does not die. It festers. It grows stronger in the dark. It doesn't disappear. It projects. You start seeing your own hidden darkness in everyone else. The greedy boss, the manipulative friend, the arrogant politician, they become the screen upon which your own shadow plays out its horror film. You fight them, you judge them, you hate them, because it's easier than admitting that you are fighting a part of yourself. And this is where you lose control, because the shadow, starved and ignored, doesn't just stay in the basement. It starts pulling the strings from below. It sabotages your relationships. It fuels your addictions. It whispers self-destructive thoughts in your moments of weakness. It is the unseen puppeteer. You think you are making rational choices, but your unowned darkness is making them for you. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your fate, that destination you never chose, is simply the manifestation of the parts of you that you refuse to own." Taking back control for Jung has nothing to do with positive thinking or morning routines. It has everything to do with a courageous descent into your own hell. Where did it begin? This schism in your soul, this severing of self. It did not start yesterday. It started in the tender years of your childhood, in the moments you learned that love was conditional. Remember being a child? Your emotions were pure, unfiltered. You felt rage, and you screamed. You felt joy, and you laughed without restraint. You felt jealousy, and you cried. You were a whole being, light and dark intertwined. And then, the world began its slow, methodical process of sanding you down. Don't be angry. Good boys don't cry. Don't be so selfish. Why can't you be more like your brother? Each command was a chisel, chipping away at your wholeness. You learned that certain parts of you were unacceptable. To receive love, to gain approval, to be safe, you had to perform. You had to create a mask, what Jung called the persona. This is the you that you present to the world. The good employee, the loving partner, the responsible citizen. It's a necessary tool for social survival. The pain, the root of your powerlessness, comes from a tragic mistake. You started to believe that the mask was your real face. The cost of this performance is immense. Every time you swallowed your anger to be agreeable, a piece of your power was buried with it. Every time you faked a smile when you were breaking inside, a piece of your authenticity died. Every time you silenced your own desires to meet someone else's expectations, you handed them the reins of your life. This creates a life of profound, unspoken resentment. You feel it simmering beneath the surface, a rage without a name, a sadness without a cause. You work hard at a job you secretly hate because it's what's responsible. You stay in a relationship that drains your soul because leaving would be selfish. You follow a path laid out for you by others, and the entire time, your buried self, your shadow, is screaming in protest. The feeling of being out of control is the cry of your abandoned soul. It's the ghost of the whole person you were meant to be, rattling the chains of the prison you helped build. The great lie that keeps you in this prison is a masterpiece of social engineering. It's whispered to you from every screen, every advertisement, every self-help guru peddling toxic positivity. The lie is this: happiness and control are achieved through perfection and conformity. The illusion is that if you can just be positive enough, work hard enough, and suppress all your negative, messy, inconvenient parts, you will arrive at a state of blissful control. Society doesn't want your wholeness. It wants your compliance. It needs you to be predictable, manageable, and a good consumer. A whole person, one who has integrated their shadow, is dangerous. They cannot be easily manipulated. They don't buy things to fill a void because they are not empty. They don't seek validation from others because they have it within. They don't follow the herd because they walk their own path. A truly integrated individual is sovereign, and a sovereign soul is the greatest threat to a system that thrives on your insecurity. So they sell you the illusion of the flawless life, the perfect body, the 10-step plan to success, the Instagram feed of endless joy. They encourage you to compare your messy, complicated inner reality with the curated, false exteriors of others. And in that comparison, you will always find yourself lacking. This fuels the cycle of self-rejection. You see your own anger, your own sadness, your own flaws, and you think, something is wrong with me. So you try harder. You push the shadow down with more force, you put on a brighter smile, you post a happier picture, and all the while, the shadow gains more power in the darkness. It feeds on your denial. It grows fat on your self-deception. You are trapped in a paradox. The harder you chase the illusion of perfect control, the more power you cede to the unconscious forces within you. You're like a man trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes all of your energy, all of your focus, and the moment you lose concentration, it erupts to the surface with violent, unpredictable force. Your outbursts of anger, your moments of self-sabotage, your sudden breakdowns, that is the beach ball erupting. It's your repressed self demanding to be seen. The illusion is that you can keep it down forever. The truth is, you can't. Now we come to the raw, terrifying, and ultimately liberating truth that Jung laid bare. The truth that society does not want you to hear. Control is not achieved by defeating your darkness. It is achieved by integrating it. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is a part of you. It is the source of your hidden power. Within your repressed anger lies the energy for setting boundaries and fighting for what is right. Within your repressed sadness lies the capacity for profound empathy and connection. Within your repressed fear lies the seed of courage. Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The gold is in the dark." The journey to reclaim your life is not a journey outward, toward more success, more possessions, more validation. It is a journey inward, into the dragon's lair. It is the process Jung called individuation. It is the conscious, deliberate process of becoming whole. It means turning around and facing the bag you buried. It means untying the knot, opening it up and looking with unflinching honesty at everything you threw inside. You must own your capacity for evil to be truly good. You must acknowledge your potential for hatred to truly love. You must accept your inner coward, to become genuinely brave. It's not about acting on these dark impulses. It's about owning them. It's about saying, yes, this too is me. This capacity for rage is mine. This capacity for envy is mine. When you do this, something miraculous happens. The shadow ceases to be an enemy puppeteer. By bringing it into the light of consciousness, you integrate its energy. It's no longer a monster in the basement. It becomes a powerful ally in the living room. The rage you once suppressed can now be channeled into a focused drive to change your life. The fear you denied becomes the wisdom to proceed with caution. You stop projecting your darkness onto others, and the world outside changes because you have changed within. You are no longer a victim of fate. You are a co-creator of your destiny, armed with the full spectrum of your humanity. This is the real meaning of control. Do not believe for a second that this journey is easy. The moment you decide to turn and face your shadow, you declare war on every lie you've ever told yourself. The transformation begins with a brutal internal conflict. It is the battle between the persona, the comfortable mask you've worn for years, and the emerging authentic self. Your mask will scream at you. It will tell you that you are becoming a bad person. It will warn you that if you acknowledge your anger, your selfishness, your darkness, you will lose everything. Your friends will abandon you. Your family will reject you. You will be alone. This is the voice of fear, the guardian of your prison. You will feel like you are falling apart. And in a way you are. The false self, the carefully constructed identity built on suppression and conformity, must crumble. It must die so that the true self can be born. This is the dark night of the soul that mystics have spoken of for centuries. It's a period of confusion, disorientation, and profound pain. You might find yourself questioning everything: your career, your relationships, your beliefs. The things that once brought you comfort might now feel hollow and meaningless. You might feel an upwelling of emotions you've suppressed for decades, a tidal wave of grief for the life you haven't lived, a volcanic eruption of rage for the ways you've been wronged and have wronged yourself. This is the crucible. This is the fire that forges the soul. Most people run from this fire. They numb it with distraction, with addiction, with noise. They retreat back to the safety of the mask, and their prison cell becomes a little smaller, a little darker. But the warrior of the soul stays in the fire. You must learn to sit with the discomfort, to watch your own darkness without judgment, to feel the rage without being consumed by it, to witness the shame without identifying with it. This is the practice. This is the work. It is the most difficult and courageous thing you will ever do. It is the moment you stop being a passive victim of your own psyche and become an active participant in your own evolution. It is the painful, beautiful, terrifying beginning of your own transformation. After the demolition comes the reconstruction, but you are not rebuilding the same fragile house. You are building a fortress from the stones of your own ruins. This is how Jung's philosophy liberates you. It gives you the tools not just to tear down, but to build anew. The first step is radical self-honesty. Start a journal, but do not write about your day. Write about your shadow. Write down the thoughts you are most ashamed of, the ugly fantasies, the petty jealousies, the bitter resentments. Write them down without judgment, not to act on them, but to acknowledge them. Drag them from the darkness into the light of the page. This is the first act of integration. Pay attention to your projections. The next time you feel an intense, irrational hatred or judgment towards someone, stop. Ask yourself, what part of my own unowned self am I seeing in this person? This is a difficult and humbling practice, but it is a powerful way to take back your shadow from the world and reclaim its energy. Listen to your dreams. For Jung, dreams are the unfiltered language of the unconscious. They are letters from your deepest self. They show you the parts of you that are being neglected, the aspects of your life that are out of balance. Don't dismiss them as random noise. Write them down. Sit with their images. They are a compass pointing you toward wholeness. This process rebuilds you from the inside out. As you integrate your shadow, you become more grounded, more authentic. You stop needing the approval of others because you have approved of yourself in your entirety. You develop what Jung called a solid and unshakable connection to your own inner world. Your relationships will change. Some will fall away, unable to handle your newfound authenticity. Others will deepen into a new level of honesty and intimacy. You will learn to set boundaries, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. You will make choices, not based on what you should do, but on what aligns with your whole, integrated self. You are no longer a puppet. You are the craftsman piecing yourself back together, and the cracks where you were broken are now filled with the gold of self-knowledge. You are not becoming perfect. You are becoming whole. And in that wholeness, you will find the control you have been searching for all along. You came here looking for a way to take back control of your life. You thought the enemy was your boss, your past, the system. You hoped for a simple solution, a 5-step plan. But the path is not outward, it is inward. The journey is not one of addition, but of excavation. The control you crave is not about dominating the world around you. It is about achieving sovereignty over the world within you. It's the quiet power that comes from no longer being at war with yourself. It's the freedom that comes from knowing that your greatest darkness is also the source of your most profound strength. For years, you have been a house divided against itself, and a house divided cannot stand. You have let your most vital energies fester in the cellar, while a polite, hollow imposter answers the door. The project of a lifetime is to invite those exiled parts of yourself back into the light, to give them a seat at the table, to listen to their wisdom. This path is not for the faint of heart. It is a lonely, often painful pilgrimage into the wilderness of your own soul. But it is the only journey that truly matters. It is the difference between living a life of quiet desperation and living a life of deep, authentic purpose. So I leave you with this question, a question that will echo in the silent chambers of your heart. What part of you have you been pretending doesn't exist? And what power are you denying yourself by keeping it in the dark? The door to the dungeon is open. The choice to descend is, and always has been, yours. If this video touched something inside of you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Comment below what made you think the most. We'll see you in the next video.